Today we're analyzing some of the most confusing legal commentary ever by a licensed attorney in the state of Texas regarding the Karmelo Anthony case. We're talking about giraffe eyelashes herself, Jasmine Crockett.
You were serious about that?
Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth hustler, dealing you a brutal display of logic and reason on a daily basis. And yes, we're talking about giraffe eyelashes today. We're looking at the high-profile courtroom verdict down in Frisco, Texas, involving the tragic loss of Austin Metcalf, where a jury of local Texans listened to the evidence, reviewed the testimony, and returned a first-degree conviction in under 3 hours, resulting in a 35-year sentence. And most normal person with an above 80 IQ would say, case closed. Not Jasmine Crockett. On a recent episode of her podcast, she gestured with her fake crazy nails and giraffe eyelashes to emphasize how small the weapon was, arguing that because of its miniature size, it shouldn't legally qualify as a deadly weapon.
Was it a switch? I don't know what he had.
It was like it seemed like it was a multi-tool, almost like a Swiss Army.
Like with like with the little scissors and everything and whatever. So it was small. Well, I would argue the size of it alone, you wouldn't even think it's a deadly weapon.
And that's
forgot he had through the bag.
If it was one of the little, like, I don't know.
So apparently to Jasmine Crockett, size does matter. This chick literally suggested that the conviction should have been scaled down to a lesser charge, comparing the knife to a small multi-tool. Now, quick side note, obviously, we now have finally seen the, quote, multi-tool, which is a 3.5-inch blade, likely same size as that. That's not a multi-tool. They talk about it like it's some kind of a Swiss Army tool or something like that, because it's called a multi-tool, technically. It's, I forget the name of the brand, but it's called the Trail 6-in-1 multi-tool. I actually have one on the way, just so you guys know. I'll be doing a video on the actual knife, just to show you what this multi-tool looks like. But she said it's small, with her fake fingernails and giraffe eyelashes.
A guy was in the convenience store. As he was walking out, he was giving looks to my children who are in the front 2 seats driving their parents home, and he started talking to my son. And then as my husband was getting out of the car, he pulled a gun on him and pointed it right at his heart.
My name is Matthew Masucci. So I was involved in a self-defense incident where I had to display my firearm. I was falsely accused of being the aggressor in that situation. I was charged with 4 felonies and arrested as such. Luckily, I came upon the Attorneys for Freedom shortly after hiring them. You know, my case took a drastic turn. They had footage of the external video at the gas station where the incident occurred that proved my side of the story was the truth. That ultimately led to all my charges being dismissed. The Attorneys for Freedom, they were very transparent with me, informative, patient. They do what's best for their clients, and they did what was best for me. And me and my family are grateful for that.
I'm a paying member of Attorneys on Retainer, and you should be too. Use my code FTATF at sign up and get immediate savings. I did some checking, and it doesn't matter how small the weapon is when you kill somebody with it. Her take isn't just a bad take. It's literally a total misunderstanding of statutory law from someone who actually helps write our laws. Remember, she's a sitting congressperson. Legal definitions do not care about your ruler or tape measure when a life is lost. They don't ask you how long the blade was. We now know that the knife is a standard pocket knife, 3.5 inches. While perfectly legal to possess for adults in Texas, Crockett's argument hinges on the idea that the physical dimensions of the object somehow change the legal gravity of the outcome. So since I'm not an attorney, and clearly I'm not as smart as her because she is, I thought I would look into that because I'm like, you know, she is a sitting congressperson and she is a real, actual attorney. So I'm giving her at least the benefit of the doubt that maybe her IQ is not part of that normal average sub 80-ish. Maybe it's a little higher, but I might have overshot. So let's look at the real Texas statutes, not the podcast theories from giraffe eyelashes over there. In Texas, the length of a blade has literally zero impact on whether an object is classified as a deadly weapon during a trial. Texas Penal Code Section 1.07A17 defines a deadly weapon in 2 ways. First, anything designed or adapted to cause serious bodily injury. But the second part is what matters here, guys. Anything that in the manner of its use or intended use is capable of causing serious injury or death. Friends, that could be a carrot. It could be a cucumber. Oh. It's not what you're using, it's how you use it. Now, size does matter for carry restrictions in Texas law. Anything over 5.5 inches is designated as a location restricted knife, meaning you can't bring it into schools or courts. Quick side note, that 3.5 inch blade, can't bring it to school either, just so you know. But for a criminal charge, the weapon's physical specifications do not alter your mental state or rewrite the finality of the outcome under Chapter 19 of the Penal Code. Can I dumb that down for those of you that are as dumb as me? You know I like analogies. Imagine a dispute where one person reaches for a standard claw hammer and another has a massive sledgehammer. Both are entirely capable of delivering a fatal blow if used with bad intent. The law examines how the tool was used, not whether it's compact or oversized. Belittling the tool used in this tragedy completely misses the legal reality. One might hurt more, but both, depending on what the intent is, depending on what this wanted to do with it, determines what the outcome of the trial is. Not the weight of the hammer or the size of the hammer. It's what the person was intending when they grabbed it. Which brings us back to Giraffe Eyelashes. She's a licensed attorney. Yet on her show, she minimized the weapon's capacity based strictly on its size, claiming that people wouldn't visually recognize it as a danger. Wouldn't that make it more dangerous? If the average person is as stupid as she is, wouldn't most people, again, being that stupid, look at a 3.5 inch blade and go, oh, it's small, and just assume, well, it can't be dangerous. So they would what? They would legally allow it in all these places that it's currently not allowed in. In other words, if a 3.5 inch blade, if experts and every legal expert and every person out there who has any say-so in legislating and writing laws like this would have looked at a 3.5 inch blade and go, the experts say that's not dangerous. Now, we're not talking about Giraffe Eyelashes. We're talking about true experts. Oh, those aren't dangerous. Those can be allowed on school property. Just like you can have a backpack on school property because it's not considered to be a weapon or dangerous. Well, they would just naturally allow 3.5 inch blades. But they don't because it is, in fact, a weapon. This completely bypasses the penal code. It replaces objective statutory definitions with personal feelings. Jurors living in the real world reviewed the actual evidence. They followed the judge's instructions and made their decision based on facts in the case. They didn't need a finger measuring routine. They didn't need to bust out tape measures. A tragedy doesn't become less severe because a politician thinks the tool used wasn't imposing enough. And this matters beyond the courtroom. It's a trend that's kind of troubling at this point. People weighing in after a case when they haven't even seen all the evidence. They weren't part of the case at all. Remember, this wasn't televised. These political commentators like Giraffe Eyelashes here twist offensive concepts and legal definitions to fit their narrative. They don't care about the facts. What she's basically saying is, you can initiate a confrontation and get off if you kill the other person as long as your knife is small enough. That's literally what her argument is. Responsible citizens must know the actual boundaries of the law. It comes down to reasonableness, imminent threat, and proportionality. The jurors in this case got it right. They followed and stuck with the evidence. Now, you know Jasmine Crockett knows all this stuff. You and I both know that. She plays dumb like she doesn't know, but she knows all this stuff. She's just pretending because, let's remember, she's out of a job. Come January, she's not going to have a job. So she's jockeying for a political commentary job on one of the networks out there. And she'll get it. She's going to get it. But this is kind of like her audition. Because, again, she ain't that stupid. I mean, she comes across as stupid, but she's not that stupid. She knows that the size of the blade doesn't mean anything. She's simply following the herd right now. They're going rabble rousing. She's simply following along with them because that's where the masses are. And again, she's simply auditioning for her next role. Folks, protect yourself with real knowledge first. Read your state statutes and understand how force is viewed by a court. Don't make the same stupid decisions that she's trying to make, even though we know she's lying. Make sure you know the laws, especially if you're going to carry blades or guns or anything like that. Make sure you know what you're getting into if something like this were to happen to you. Don't let podcast commentary distort your truth. What are your thoughts on Miss Giraffe Eyelash's legal interpretation here? Drop your comments down below. I read through them pretty good. If you leave a comment, I'm likely to respond to it somehow. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video if you get the chance. And as always, remember, stay armed, be dangerous, and may God bless America. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.